for one moment think that I'm not there. I had to close some doors in your life, but it was for your good. I have many plans to open up, but nobody else would. Don't you know I'm always here for you? Put your trust in me and I'll care for you. Say your prayers to me and I will answer you. Wait on me. 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 I said wait on me. Wait on me.
You're listening to Omega Radio, the station of the stars, where Jesus Christ is a star. Thank you for listening.
Omega Radio now presents a health alert, sponsored by New Budget Supplies, always the best prices, and Bashco, the store that gives you more.
Clean and disinfect surfaces frequently daily. This includes tables, doorknobs, light switches, countertops, handles, desks, phones, keyboards, toilets, faucets, and sinks. If surfaces are dirty, clean them. Use detergent or soap and water prior to disinfection.
Omega Radio has just presented a health alert, sponsored by New Budget Supplies, always the best prices, and Bashco, the store that gives you more.
The Omega Radio Network. Wake up! This is Chopper Ranks, and you're listening to the Omega Radio Network.
This is Bishop John Wayne Manning, Senior Pastor from the Omega Church International Ministry. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is in your neighborhood. Top of the hour to you, ladies and gentlemen. I am Bishop John Wayne Manning on the Real Talk Show, where the talk is the talk and the walk is the walk. Tune in and listen to our programs Monday through Friday between the hours of 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. on the Real Talk. Good morning, top of the hour to you and your family. Tell a friend, call a friend, and tell them to tune in and listen to Omega Radio.
Thank you, Father. Just like Moses crossing the Red Sea. Thank you, Father.
Welcome to the award-winning Scoreboard on KLAS Sports FM 89.
After a riveting sports desk discussion earlier today, we now switch to the Scoreboard. A special good afternoon to you and everyone, and say a special good afternoon to you, Mr. Hoyt, across the glass, pulling the strings. And welcome to the Scoreboard on Omega Radio on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. You know, at this time, we normally speak about track in the field. But I had to mention something that happened earlier today, though, on the sports desk about when Orville, speaking about Jermaine Hugh, top 10 passer. All I'll say to that is that I think that was funny. I'm sorry. But if he thinks that Jermaine Hugh is one of the top 10 he has seen, maybe that should tell you something about him. But anyways, let's move on. That's funny. We have three guests online, and one of the three is a young lady, which I know for a very long time, who's an international journalist. Trishana McGowan, special good day to you.
Good day, Sean Grant, and to the listeners of Omega KLAS.
Okay. And another is, should I say, has lost some weight, has lost some hair. Leighton Levy.
Hey, Sean, how you doing?
How you doing, man?
I am here surviving, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the most important thing, surviving, though. And you'll know Leighton from Sports Max also. And he knows a little bit about track and field. Well, I should say no more. And the other is an international commentator and is broadening his wings. And you'll hear his voice at the National Stadium. And when he makes the mistakes, he'll come down and smile. And Donald Smith?
Yes, good day, Sean. Good day to the listeners.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, you know. I'm complaining.
Hey,
how you doing, Leighton? How you doing, Trish?
So, Trish, I hear you. You not hear him, Trish? I don't know what to Trish, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I just want. You heard that, Trish?
No, I did not.
Oh, they're telling you how high. So I don't know. But let's start with it though. The discussion. There have been some heated discussions on the sports desk for the past couple of weeks or days or weeks, I should say, on who should get Sportswoman of the Year. Now there are two title contenders going up for that championship or that headliner. But before we delve into that, let's look at the NACAC Championship earlier on. It happened on the weekend, and we watched the stream, and some persons enjoyed it, some persons enjoyed it more than others. But your thoughts of Jamaica's performances, Donald, I'm going to start with you. Jamaica's performances at the NACAC Championship.
Well, Sean, I think that we did creditably well. I think on the men's side, we dominated the sprints. I think the only sprint race we didn't win would have been the 4x1s, if memory serves me correct, and the 110-meter hurdles. But the 100, 200, and the 400 meters all won by Jamaicans. So really happy with that effort on the men's side, especially when there was a lot of criticism around, where are our men when it comes on to sprinting. Really happy for Christopher Taylor, especially with that new personal best, 44.63, I think.
Yeah.
So, really proud that he was able to improve on his PB, which would have set in Tokyo last year, which was 44.79. Akeem Blake, I won't say much about that. I know Trish would want to speak on that, but I just love that he's consistently now getting below that 10-second barrier, and that all goes well for what the next season will entail for him. So in general, I think that we did creditably well. There are, of course, things that we could have improved on. We saw Tajay Gale getting a silver, Sean D. Thompson a bronze in that long jump. Mm-hmm. Travis Michael and Frederick Dakers bronze and silver respectively in the discus. It wasn't a bad effort. So I'll say no more for now.
Mm. Well, Trish, Donald has introduced you because of one special individual you did an interview with on your page, YouTube page. What do you thought about his performances at NACAC and for the season so far?
So let me start on the high with him getting a gold medal. Tremendous achievement, and we know how it is in sports world that there are tiers to competitions. Football, every sport has it. For me, once you can go into your national colors and perform and get a gold medal, you should deem yourself, doing the work and should be proud of your efforts. Again, also going sub 10. So I think if he's to take that win, that victory, NACAC senior champion over the 100 meters, we have not had the men getting on the podium, even in answer race recently in individual medals.
Mm-hmm.
So I think overall at the NACAC championship, it was really an amazing achievement for him. And also walking away with a bronze or silver in the 4x100 meters sprint relay. So I thought overall he had a really tremendous NACAC championship.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe would have wanted to go on faster. But again, the consistency for him is showing, which is going sub 10. So really proud of his efforts there. For the season, I would grade him at A. Not A+, not A-, just A. Because he took a chance on himself.
Mm-hmm.
Reaching out. We like I said, I did the interview, reaching out to Johan Blake, leaving Merlin Otte High School, leaving what he has known. He used to make the journey all the way from Hanover to come to Kingston. So this is something that he wants to do. And like I said, he took a chance on himself, and it is paying off. And we can only hope that come next season and beyond with more development, because we do see frame. We see frame. And while he's now, running sub 10s and so on, it will need more for him to become even more consistent and go better than, World Championship silver medalist come next year. And I'm hoping that he can have a good rest period and then resume training, barring injuries. I'm hoping that we can see even greater stuff from him come 2023.
Leighton, you heard from Trish, heard from Donald, but I'm sticking to Blake though. And Blake has looked outstanding this season, promising from a youngster from the West. Never delivered at champs as he wanted to, or many persons thought that he could. But he has gone under 10 seconds, consistently under 10 seconds this year. Now, two things can happen after this. In terms of his team around him, his coaching club, he could stay the 9.9s for the next 5 years, or it could dip below. What are your thoughts with that statement? Do you think he is going to further lower his time, or is going to still stick around 9.9? Then
I think he has the potential to go a lot faster. When you look at this, one of the things that winning an international title does for any athlete of any sport is that it gives them a confidence that their public previously didn't have. And of course, we saw a team at the World Championship in Oregon. Based on the information I got, he was very nervous competing against the world stage. However, he got to the semifinal, didn't do too bad. I mean, you saw the semifinals where he tightened up a little bit. And of course, it cost him a place in the final. He comes to the knockout championship and he gets a gold medal. I mean, he controlled that event from the heat right through until he stepped on and he got caught the finish line in the final. So that I think is a breakthrough for him, not just physically, but also mentally, in that his belief in what he's capable of would have gone up significantly. So I think, given the progress that we've seen coming this season, I don't know if he's going to go 9 years next season. It would be nice for him to do that. But he's gone 9.92 so far this year, or 9.95. I think we could see a 9.90, 9.88 Akeem Blake next year, which is, he's 20 years old. And of course, the steps are going to get progressive. So I'm not going to keep expectations that he's going to run 9.7 or 9.8 lows next year. Mm-hmm. But I do believe he'll be faster because, one, I think he now understands what is required of him to be consistently below 10 seconds. Two, trusting in the system and the coaches that he has around him will make him understand now that what they're telling him is actually what works for him because he has proof of it now. So I think he'll be better next season. How much faster? I think time will tell, but I think he will be.
Leighton, good point. Donald, now Akeem Blake is from one club. You have Racers, you have Elite, you have MVP. With the athletes broadening out like that, and not to forget over GC Foster College, with the athletes broadening out like that, does it mean well for Jamaica, or is it a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, I think that,
Go ahead, Donald.
Yes, I'm saying that it is not I don't think it's a bad thing. Mm-hmm. I think that when you have these clubs that are expanding, it could allow for focus on specific areas of track and field. It might not be readily seen now, as most of the clubs are really still focusing on the sprint. But what it does is that it gives athletes options as to where they can go. Prior to probably 2019 or prior to COVID, you pretty much were limited to 4 clubs, pretty much, probably 5. Now you have an additional 2 or 3. And these are provided quality as well. Yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a case of where an athlete believes that they can be best suited, mm-hmm. and how they can grow in an environment. And again, there are options. So if an environment is not suitable for them, they can always look for another option within the local that they're based.
Trish. Are you with us, Trish?
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you now.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Donald just answered that question, though, regarding different clubs in the island, a lot of clubs, and a lot of the clubs are putting out good performances. Now, you're an athlete, a former athlete, Trish, and we see Christopher Cobby Taylor, putting out a personal best at the back end of his season. Would you point to say maybe the coaches got it wrong just a bit, though, for him to be producing his personal best now? Or was it maybe had niggles before?
I think he had some setbacks, and we saw at the national championship. Was it at the at the national championship? Following his event, I think he had to be rolled off the field, right? Now, because of that, I'm sure, whether it be soreness or severe injury, clearly it wasn't severe because he came back to the World Championships as well as the NACAC. I think that would have set back his preparations a bit. He went on to the Commonwealth Games as well. So I think whatever he maybe had suffered or sustained during that time would have somewhat set back the training preparation, maybe in terms of the coach, wanting for him to put in a certain of work so that he can have that peak performance. We also expected it to have happened to a number of athletes, because of the turnaround time between the Jamaica National Championships as well as the U.S. and others to the time of the World Championships. It was, 14 days or just a little bit over. So you found that athletes who would have had niggles or sustained injuries during that time of their national championships or even in between training after that, it would have been tough to maybe get some of the results or times or jumps, etc., that we would have expected at the World Championships because of the turnaround. So I think that based on how he looked afterwards at the Commonwealth Games, at the NACAC Championship, I think we can argue that I think what would have transpired with him at our national championship maybe would have hampered that a little bit.
All right, hold that point. Hold that point there, Trish. We're going to come back to you after the break. We're going to take the break and come right back to Shauna McGowan and friends, Mr. Levy and Smith. We'll be back with more.
With over 40 years of record service, Lock Safe and Vault Limited is your trusted security provider. Get affordable prices on a wide variety of seals, garage doors, access control supplies, magnetic lock, fingerprint, weatherproof keypads, card access system, time attendance, power supplies, and exit buttons. Professional services provided. Visit 40 Shortwood Road, Kingston 8. Problem solved with Lock Safe and Vault.
Make your space yours with Edgechem Decorative Paints. Our stock and customizable line of paints is designed to offer you any color and finish you could dream of, with maximum coverage and minimal hassle. Use color match technology to create that perfect shade to make your space beautiful while spending less money. Trust Edgechem Paints and get the right product to get the job done well. Edgechem Paints, for people who dream in color.
On air, online, or on your mobile, it's sports on KLAS Sports FM 89. Hear live sporting action on the BBC Sports Today, 12:30 p.m. weekdays, and the BBC Sports World for your latest news, interviews, and analysis from around the world. The BBC Sports World, this and every Saturday and Sunday morning on KLAS Sports FM 89. Presented by
AnyBet, your best bet, reminds you to bet responsibly. Bashco, the store that gives you more. Edgechem, for people who dream in color. And Hawkeye Electronic Security, securing what matters most.
You're listening to the award-winning Scoreboard on your number one sports radio station, KLAS Sports FM 89.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Sean Grant in the house with three special guests. You may say Leighton Levy, Trishana McGowan, and Donald Smith. Now, Trish, you were making a point before the break, though, and I'm allowing you to finish your point.
So like I was saying, regarding, I don't think it was on the part of Christopher Taylor's performance, that personal best that we saw last week came as a result of the coach getting it wrong. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm just assuming that what he sustained at our national championship, I think that would have hampered his preparation fully as to how, the results that they would have wanted or expected, whether it be through time or performance at the World Championship. But good to see that he bounced back or got over that injury, and he was able to come to the Commonwealth Games and the NACAC Championship and contributed well for the country, but more so for himself. Personal best, you cannot really complain whenever you get a personal best, especially at a championship. So I think all in all, he would be pleased with the season. I'm sure he would have wanted more or that personal best, even at the World Championships and going better. But at the end of the day, he can see that the work that he has been doing isn't in vain.
Sharif?
In addition to that, Sean, if I could just add to that.
Yeah, man.
You remember, when Chris Motilla went away from, I went to Tumbleweed, he was battered and bruised. Yeah? He had injuries that in many instances sometimes they thought would have been career threatening. Over the past couple of years, though, we've seen him being a little more, notwithstanding the physical challenges that he would have faced, he's progressively been more consistent. And I think after he came back from the Commonwealth Games, word is that he was over at Calabar training and he was looking really good in training. I think what we are about to see is the true Christopher Taylor potential that many people believe he had since he started running for Calabar. Because now I think most of the physical challenges are behind him. He's faster, certainly looks stronger. At the African Championship, the strongest that's been looked in the last couple of years. We could now be beginning to see the Christopher Taylor who is capable of 44-4s and possibly 44-2s because he's now healthier than he was when he left Jamaica 3 years ago to start playing at Tumbleweed. And I think once he's able to stay healthy, I think we'll see him maximize that potential.
Funny enough, Leighton, as you jumped in, you mentioned about Christopher Taylor and training at Calabar, and others are there. And there was a dream some years ago, about 6 years ago, persons were predicting that Jamaica would be ruling the 4x4, the national record would go, probably 256 would be on the cards, because of the massive amount of talent at that age, 17, 18, 19. However, time has passed, but the blossoming and the expectations have died down somewhat. Has lived up to expectations with the team or the individuals?
Yeah, because progress is linear. One of the things that we need to come to grips with is that progress is never linear. Well, it's hardly ever linear. We have a lot of potential here in Jamaica. When you look at Nathan Allen, who ran 44-1, in college, and of course at the World Championships in 2019, he's had his issues with injuries and other issues. But 45.04 is a PB for him. Not a PB, a season's best for him at the knockout championship. We saw it through the World Championships in the relay with 43.9. We saw it at Commonwealth Games well, despite the fact that he didn't medal in the 40-meter time, but he ran well in the relays as well. I think we're beginning to see people like Nathan Allen and Christopher Taylor come back from those physical challenges. We're now waiting to see the likes of Akeem Bloomfield, who I think would have been probably disappointed that he didn't make further progress this season. And then there are several others. Remember, there are 15 runners that Jamaica had this year, I think, who were either between 45.9 and 45.5 prior to the national championship. And I do believe that over the next couple of years, we will see more of those guys maybe transition to breaking through the 45-second barrier. So maybe by 2024, the Olympics in Paris, we'll probably have 4 or 5, maybe even 6 guys running under 45 seconds, with probably like some Taylor, Nathan Allen, and Bloomfield approaching 44 loads, if not faster, because we've seen Akeem on 43.90, 43 was it, 94?
Yeah.
Second fastest time ever by a Jamaican. I believe that he still has that potential. I think he's had issues with injuries, he's had issues with the death of his mother, which put him into a state of depression that, many people will probably scoff at, but it's a serious issue for him. I think once he gets past those hurdles, I do believe that he'll get back to the 43 athlete that we know he's capable of.
Yeah, I think that could be an issue also. Donald, you're there with us?
Yeah, man, still here.
All right. Go ahead.
Just before you jump again, so one of the things as well, I know this may be a bit of a segue, but I was listening to part of the program on the sports section earlier, and they were pretty much, I think, both hosts were indicating or implying, along with a caller, that the NACAC championships is not necessarily a big meet. And what a lot of people don't understand is that it is an area meet. It is in line with the European Championships, Asian Games, African Championships. It's supposed to be a major thing. And when you compare what we saw over the weekend to the European Championships in Munich, Germany, it doesn't appear that way. So it gives the appearance that this meet is just a regular one-day meet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it is a very important meet. And until there is greater buy-in from federation sponsors and people to actually plan it properly, we will continue to think that it is a basic meet that persons just go because them can't run a Europe, for example. You know, so I just want
but Donald, to go with your point as well, but if you compare the performances for the most part, you know, the knockout championships had equal quality to the performances that we saw in the European Championships. 19.87 won the 200, 9.95 won the European Championships, 9.98 won the knockout championships. When you look at the times in the 400 meter hurdles for both men and women, 47.3 is not that far from 47.12 by Varholm. The quality was right there, and you're right. I think greater emphasis needs to be made in terms of the production side of things, because what we saw in the Bahamas, and this is not so full water and their effort, but it was ordinary, the broadcast. I mean, the camera angles were poor, the commentary was, I wouldn't even get into that. You know, it needs to be of a higher standard to be able to bring it more to the fore and have people understand that this is a major championship.
It is, exactly.
Notwithstanding the absence of some of the biggest stars out there, the fact is that the quality was on par with the European champions.
Yeah, I mean, Shericka Jackson and Shauna Miller-Weibo as a top in their field. And
49.4, 10.82, both times are faster than what in Europe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But my next question, though, and Donald, I'm glad you went on that path, though. You didn't segue at all. You're right on the mark, because persons are stating and on the sports desk about why they did not go to some individuals like Shericka Jackson, Blake, did not go to the Commonwealth Games. Why they left out the Commonwealth Games and came to NACAC, and they're looking at NACAC as a lower championship. Why do you think that happened, Donald?
I mean, it doesn't get the recognition that it deserves, because if you really look back at it, most Jamaicans, for example, would be aware of the World Championships, the Olympics, and the Commonwealth Games, and then everything else is like a meet on a circuit. The NACAC Championships is not necessarily something that people think is major, but it is. And you have to then ask the question to the powers that be, the NACAC leadership, you know, what have they done to push this championships to the point where people have it that once it's on the calendar, if you're going World Championships, if it's on the calendar, they're pushing to be a part of the team to go to that championships. So it's a lot of things that we probably are not privy to. That could be causing persons to not see it as important. So when you look at and one of the other significant things is that the prize money is like very small, so that may be a turn off to some athletes. But it may have benefited one athlete in particular, which may feed into your potential next question in terms of sportswoman or sportsman of the year. I think that with Shericka Jackson running at the NACAC Championships and winning the 100 meters, not only in that time, but just by winning, if she then goes and wins the Diamond League 200 meters, even if Shelley were to win the 100 meters in the Diamond League, Shericka, in my opinion, should be the favorite to win the sportswoman of the year.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there very soon. I have to break it down, though. We're going to take a break and come back here listening to Donald Smith and Leighton Levy along with Trishana McGowan.
someone say more? Your midday has gotten even better with the KLAS Sports Brief. Get the latest on local, regional, and international sporting news and highlights in the Midday Sports Brief aired weekdays at 12 noon. 10 minutes of riveting sports stories to keep you informed and in the know. The KLAS Sports Brief aired weekdays at 12 noon on your number one station for sports, KLAS Sports FM 89.
Sponsored by Sun Powder, Go Fresh, Big Clean, Small Price. Distributed by Derrimon Trading and JTA Co-op Credit Union Limited, serving our members, impacting lives positively.
Calling all sales advisors. We are looking for you. Yes, Omega Radio is inviting you to join the team as sales advisors. Send all application letters to admin@omegaklas.com. Visit our website at www.omegaradio.com or call 876-929-1344. Previous media sales experience would be an asset.
Omega Radio now presents Sports in a Minute. It's sponsored by Edgechem, Fosrich Group of Companies, Enibet, Total Hardware, and Dangel's Auto Spares and Accessories.
League Two strugglers Crawley Town knocked Premier League newcomers Fulham out of the Carabao Cup on an unbelievable night at their Broadfield Stadium. The goals from Tom Nicholas and Liverpool loanee James Balagizi gave the host a famous victory, with a full-time whistle prompting a pitch invasion by their jubilant supporters. Now, Crawley sit 23rd in the league, or League Two, 84 league positions below their opponents, having lost 4 of their opening 5 league matches so far this season. That's all the time we have for your Sports in a Minute.
Omega Radio has just presented Sports in a Minute, sponsored by Edgechem for people who dream in color. Fosrich, we open on Sundays with special discounts on all items in store. Solar floodlights, water heaters, conduits, and more. Or visit fosrich.com and shop. Enibet, your best bet, reminds you to bet responsibly. Total Hardware, don't stand in line, shop online with totalja.com. Total Hardware, your home improvement store. And Dangel Auto Spares and Accessories Limited at 20 Balmoral Road in Kingston.
You're listening to the award-winning Scoreboard on your number one sports radio station, KLAS Sports FM 89.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard on a Tuesday afternoon. Shoshana McGowan, Leighton Levy, and Donald Smith, along with your host, Sean Grant, cruising through, though, talking about a track in the field. And we're going to talk about the Sportswoman and Sportsman of the Year. And while we went into the break, though, just before going into the break, we touched on one particular thing, and athletes' decision. Now, there is something surrounding some games, the importance of some games, and if a game is should it be attended. Now, what makes a championship important? What makes it significant to the persons who are looking on? The athletes. Now, if the athletes don't turn up for the championships, it's not going to be a big championship in person's eyes. So it all depends on the athletes. And then for the administrators, how they can lure these athletes to be at the championship. I think it's just simple as that. Trish, what are your thoughts?
I do agree with you in terms of the quality, well, not the quality, in terms of the name of the athlete, showing up to an event. I think because of the pandemic, let me say this. I know over the years, for example, the Commonwealth Games, NACAT, and Pan Am
Pan Am, yeah.
They oftentimes do not get some of the best quality athletes in terms of those who are running the top times, making the jumps and throws. I think the pandemic also would have played a part in it, because remember that 2020, the Olympics being pushed to 2021, and also now the World Championship moving to 2022, along with the Commonwealth Games. I think it helped and it didn't help in terms of the turnaround time would have been very short from the World Championship to the Commonwealth Games, where we saw some athletes going because it was perfect timing and then you saw some not going. I think that, when I listened to Glenn Mills and also Stephen Francis when we had our conversation, stop making the Olympic Games, for example, the main event. When you look at football and Formula One, in order for us to grow the sport, we have to now start seeing a lot of these events as a premier events. And as such, the calendar will have to make adjustments to accommodate these events so that we can see the best of our athletes participating at them.
But let me jump in, Trish. The fact is, the shoe company or the sponsors has the Olympic as their major event. Now, if you win an Olympic gold, you get a bigger bonus than at the World Championship.
I know that, but that's what I'm saying, It's in life, as you know, what you prioritize or what you make a priority or a big deal is what will become a priority and a big deal. So I'm not saying that the Olympic Games is not the premier event. That's not what I'm saying. However, for track and field, you cannot treat it like other sports because the money not there. Long and short of it. So how are we going to maximize a lot of the events so that they can be, there won't be the premier event, but how they can be of importance? The Premier League is important, and so is the Champions League. People watch the FA Cup because it is a part of football, and we love football. The Carabao Cup because we love football as well. But we know they're not top tier compared to the leagues, the league titles vying for, and the Champions League. Yes or no?
True.
Right. No, I am saying the money in a football, they can do that. With track and field, the money is not there, so you have to switch and move with the time. So what you could have done a couple of years ago and say, yeah, man, we'll come in the Olympians now are broke and hungry because no money is in track and field. So I am not of the belief that, things can't change. You have to change things. If you don't, we're going to be left behind. The sport is going to be left behind. So while I can understand that Olympics is a big deal for track athletes, how many basketball players are taking time to go to the Olympic Games? A lot of them don't go and represent their countries. Well, USA, for example. So like I said, I believe that going forward, I'm not speaking for other sports and I'm not knocking the Olympic Games. I'm saying in order for us to grow track and field beyond what it is, we have to now start looking at the calendar and see how we can prioritize a lot more meet to suit the time of background season into peaking season. You cannot have athletes and want the best year of athletes to be competing at a championship back-to-back or going to this meter and having diamond leagues after Champions League, people get to go and race. I mean, now they have the Euros and stuff, but we have to do a better job going forward. And I mean, that's all I can add on.
All right, the planning.
Yeah.
Donald, you brought up something though. You are changing the limelight in terms of Sportswoman of the Year. So I'm going to start with you and then go to Leighton. But you already made your point.
Yes. To me.
But hold on. So before the NACAC Championship, who did you have as a leader?
To me, it was. To be honest, I don't know.
Maybe you don't know, Donald.
No, think about it. Shelley would be slightly ahead because
why?
At the consistent times under 10.70 seconds in the 100 meters. So to me, that 7 times already this season alone. So that is never done before. So in my mind, that has to be counted as significant.
So
then
go ahead.
Then when you go to Sherika now, she's still the second fastest woman all time at 200 meters. Won at World Championships, right? And has also been doing well on the Diamond League circuit.
How many times has she gone under 22 seconds?
This season, I think it's 4 or 3 times already this season.
4.
Right? So, I mean, she needed another championship, in my opinion, to kind of stake her claim to the lead. And I think with what she did at NACAC, if she goes on and wins the 200 meters at the Diamond League, then even if Shelley were to win the 100 meters at the Diamond League, I still would give the edge to Sherika.
The edge?
Just for having another major title.
I'm gonna come back to you though. Leighton.
Yeah, listen.
I disagree with you, Donald.
No problem.
I've been thinking about it for a long time, and it's hard to separate them. Sherika is the 100 meter silver medalist at the World Champions. The 100 meter silver medalist at World 200 champion, second fastest all time. Shelley, a historic a record extending 5 100-meter world titles, second in the 200. Because those championships carry weight, no?
Mm-hmm.
Sharika, of course, is now the knockout 100-meter champion, which also carries weight. If Shelly wins the 100-meter title, the Diamond League title, and Sharika wins the 200-meter title, I'd have to go with Sharika, notwithstanding Shelly's outstanding performances. But when you look at what Sharika has done in terms of accomplishment, her first global title over 200, second fastest among all time, and knockout 100-meter title. No matter, these are championships we're talking about, right? So she would have 2 championship titles to Shelly's 1. Right? The Diamond League is the Diamond League, yeah, but it's not a championship. So I think, if anything, you probably have to lean slightly in favor of Sharika, but I could understand if Shelly wins female athlete of the year, because of just the magnitude of what she accomplished. No other athlete, male or female, has ever won 5 consecutive titles, not consecutive, 5 titles in any running event, period. So that's history itself. The 6 times below 10 in any one season is also unparalleled, right? And it's 8 times overall now. So you're looking at every time Shelly steps on the track this year is another piece of history that she creates. So, for me, whichever way the pendulum swings on the night when people are making the decision, it's fine with me. Could be
Pendulum! Trishana, I hear these two. Are you thinking the same way, Trish? No, I'm not going to cuss into whatever, but let me hear what I say first.
Why are you going to cuss?
I'm not saying anything yet, but let me hear you first.
As for my sportsman and sportswoman?
It's sportswoman first.
Sportswoman. Since you called me very late, and I didn't talk to you because I really don't care who is a sportsman or a sportswoman.
I know you don't.
Yeah, I really don't care. But if I'm to choose someone, I'm going to choose a 35-year-old mom.
What?
What do you mean?
Let me hear what you say.
Right? So it's a toss-up between herself and Sharika Jackson.
Mm.
But I'm leaning more towards, I don't want to say I'm leaning more towards, like I said, I honestly don't care. And I'm not going to pretend as if I do. But if I had to choose between maybe, all right, if you have to give out of Sharika and Shelly, who do you choose? I would then say Sharika. But Shelly is in close contention at 35 years old, a gold medal. That's tremendous. 5-time world champion over the 100 meters. And she came back in the 200 meters and got a bronze.
Silver.
Tremendous.
Silver.
Oh, you see, there you go. Yeah, my case for me, But yeah, and also adding that 4x100 meters relay medal to it. So, but then when you look at the performances that Sharika's had as well, also brilliant. And now put no knockout gold medal in it. In that line of argument. I just think that I cannot exclude it though. Her body of work has been consistent as well this season. And getting that gold medal, finally an individual gold medal in the 200 meters, what an achievement and the time. So if, and only if, like I said, if you're to say to me which of the two, I'll give Sharika. I think, like I said, her body of work is really good and very deserving, coming from the 400 meters to now doing the double 1-2 and being on the podium in both. And her times are also tremendous. But it's kind of hard to get her over Shelly, But anyhow, I would pick her. As for the men...
No, not yet. We're close up with the women. But you're saying something, Leighton?
No.
I thought you were going to say something a while ago. I've listened to all of you, and I know if one individual from Kingston College, if he was alive, he would be upset. Mr. Teddy McCook. Now, the thing is, one of the things he did was to change the name from Jamaica Trials to a championship. Now, nobody mentioned that, guess what? Sharika is the national champion. Of all the assessment, what was done by Donald and Leighton and Trish, nobody mentioned that. Hold on. And you even commentated the race, Donald. Nobody even mentioned that Sharika Jackson is the 100 and 200 meters
200.
national champion. Shelly did not run the 100, but she ran the 200 and was beaten. So the thing is, she has 2 national titles. So guess what? Guess what?
Done and dusted for you.
No, listen to me. never come back from the break. The carpet done cussing yet. I said it across the glass. I'll come back.
Protecting Jamaica's borders from illicit imports and exports is a key priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. The JCA will remain vigilant and resolute in effectively fulfilling this mandate. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:45.
With over 30 years serving Jamaica, HChem Paints continues to give our customers the best painting experience through excellent customer service, innovation, and superior quality products, which include decorative, automotive, industrial, and furniture finishes. Available at any of our HChem retail stores and other distributors island-wide. When you think of your next DIY project, think HChem Paints. HChem, changing lives 1 gallon at a time.
Give a little something. US $1 JD 150 every time you receive a remittance from Lasco Money Transfer to sponsor a social project selected by the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. Say, I want to donate $1 to the cashier. Donations accepted at these locations: 38.5 Red Hills Road, Kingston 10, 15 Chandos Place, Poppin Square, Kingston 10, and Shop 203 Bayway Shopping Center, 3 St. James Street, Montego Bay.
Set the trend, set the trend.
The trend-setting sports desk on KLAS Sport FM 89. Mondays to Fridays, 1 to 4 p.m. Jamaica's #1 sports call-in program. Join Orville Higgins and Zidane Matthews as they continue to take call-in sports discussions to the highest levels on radio. The Sports Desk, Mondays to Fridays, 1 to 4 p.m. on KLAS Sports FM 89, Jamaica's #1 sports radio station. Sponsored by Just Bet, your game, your passion. And the musical selection is sponsored by HChem, for people who dream in color.
You're listening to the award-winning Scoreboard on your #1 sports radio station, KLAS Sports FM 89.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard. You hear me chuckling. And because I just got some text a while ago, and the persons are texting us saying, stop the foolishness. Nobody is counting Nakak. and Shelly's going to win. So it's a conversation for persons. Now, I would not like to be in that selector's chair, but because of the ranking that they have, I spoke to Stefan years ago, according to the rankings that they have in terms of championships coming down, how they judge it, and the national is also in that judge. But you want to think which one is more important than the other. And I agree with Donald, I agree with Leighton in terms of the body of work what Shelly has put down is impeccable. It's impeccable. 10 sixes, 5 times this year. Outstanding. And gold medal at the World Championship, silver medal at the World Championship. We're talking individual performances so far. She has been outstanding. That's Shelly and Fraser Price. However, she hasn't ran a lot of 200 meters this year. She ran the 200 meters at the World Championship, and that's it for her. But the combination, what Sharika has done, is that she has ran 100 great times. It was outstanding times 2 years ago if you were running 10.7s. But she ran 10.7 more than once this year. Think about twice this year.
10.77, 10.71.
Right. Or 3 times. I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Right. So the thing is, with that compilation, with her 200-meter times going on at 22 seconds, 4 or 5 times this season. So it's a body of work for Sharika. Both in terms of World Championship have same gold and silver.
And national record.
And national. And so the second best time of all. Exactly. So yes, Shelly's doing great on the circuit. And she's firm favorite to win that 100 meters diamond. And Sharika, if she win the 200 meters diamond, would be on the same line. but it can't discredit, and the text is still coming in my phone now, it can't discredit the championships. You can't discredit the championships. I'm not talking to you lately now. I'm just talking to persons who are texting me now.
No, I get you. You mentioned, no, sorry to interrupt you, Sam, but you mentioned some people saying that they don't consider NACAC. It is an era title. That's why you have era records. That's why you have national records. It is a title. So you cannot discredit it and you cannot leave it out because it is a title. So for those who are favoring Shelly, look, fine. Favor Shelly because I wouldn't necessarily disagree if he wins. The fact is that Sherika has 2 titles, a world title and an era title, which counts as something. As opposed to Shelly's 1 international title this season. Compared to Sherika's 2.
I'll tell that quickly, Sean. I have to leave.
I know you have to go. Yeah.
But just to point out quickly, for all the listeners, the World Athletics maintains 10 categories of meet types or meeting types, ranging from the Olympic Games all the way down to a national permit meet like your Douglas Forest meets or those one-off meets, right? The NACAC Championships, the NACAC Open Championships would be in the 4th category, so it's 4th rank, which is bigger than Pan Am, bigger than the Commonwealth Games. So it has it's supposed to have a major status in track and field. It's just that it's not planned properly, so it doesn't come across that way, but it's significant.
Do you remember the World Indoors earlier this year?
Yep.
Remember Sherika in that final?
Yes.
Everybody forgot?
60 meters.
Yeah, everybody forgot that she was in that final, that 60 meters at the World Indoors? A World Championship? Are we forgetting that?
No, I don't think. The fact is, I don't think because she didn't medal, I don't think people would wear that. But the fact is that she would have beat TV from 7:31 down to 7:04 and fifth in a final where the 4th fastest time in history was run 6:96. I mean, you know, it's what it is.
So I have to go with Sherika. I have to go with Sherika. I mean, it's close. It's very, very close between the two. But the body of work for me, Sherika, all season long from indoors coming straight down, I have to go with Sherika. I'm sorry.
Sound grand.
Yes, Trish.
Let's say the World Athletics is keeping an award ceremony, right? Who do you think they would choose between both? I mean, they consider, and I'm just saying, remember, the World Athletics is not like that because you're going to consider the world record holders and so on, Yolamar Rojas, etc. You have so many other athletes. But let's say they're saying between these 2 sprinters, based on the body of work, what do you think they take in consideration, one, and who do you think would be nod, who would have been given the nod by World Athletics?
Can I tell you?
That's just what I want. I don't need no breakdown and nothing.
Very good question, Trish.
Yes.
Who would I choose, or who do you think they would choose?
Yes, between Shelly and Sherika, based on their body of work, right, and taking consideration what they may be of importance, who would have been given the nod?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know.
You don't know. Of course you know. You don't want to take the kettle, go against Jack off.
No,
away from her brilliant. You think the people have about national trial? People have national trial?
But national trial,
is to make a team.
but national trial is important. But national trials.
National trials was important. No personal best run idea national trials, and they're not reaching away now. Let's not kid ourselves.
Come on, Trish. Don't disregard the national trials. Go ahead, Lynn.
Did I say that?
No,
I'm not disregarding the national championship. It's one of the best. Remember, I dubbed it Jamaica Olympics because of the times.
Exactly.
Jumps and throws. But that is stop right there, so the team is a bigger picture after that.
Hold on, Trish. Over here, Leighton.
No, Shelly has greater star power. I think we have consensus on that. She is the darling of the Diamond League. She is, probably the most interviewed female sprinter out there, period. She has personality and everything. But, I mean, the consistent 10-6s this year does say something. But I do believe that titles count. And in terms of title, Sherika has the advantage. She might not be as brilliant as Shelly in terms of the limelight, but she has a confidence. I mean, you count wins regardless of where the wins come. And in terms of titles, Erica has the advantage. To answer Kishana's question, World Athletics would go with Erica because knockout is part of the World Athletics body. And it's a title, and as Dara just mentioned, it's fourth on the ranking, and also she's the World 200 meter champion. I think World Athletics will have gone with Erica as well.
Donald, you're still there or are you gone?
Yeah.
I thought
I was about to run and then I heard Trish's question. So if we were to make that decision today solely based off ranking points, Shelley would have the advantage by a mere 10 points. Because based on the ranking score that she has as at today, she's 1,527 ranking points ahead of Jackson, 1,517 ranking points. But this ranking does not take into consideration any points that Jackson would have earned from Nakak. So as of today, the 23rd of August, that has not yet been added to her score.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
So she still has an advantage, in my opinion, if you were looking beyond today. But if it was just today, Shelley would win.
All right. We have about 5 minutes to go. Donald, thank you very much, though, because I know you're off. I know you're going on your trip, your journey.
My trip and journey, whoa. Yo, thanks for having me.
I don't want to be specific.
Boy. Well, I never shared anything, so I don't know what you would be specific with.
That's a good friend, Donald Smith. I made a story for you, man, so don't worry about it.
All right, no problem.
All right.
You guys have a good one. Thanks.
Leighton, still there? Trish, still there?
Yes, I am.
The women it's difficult to choose from. Difficult. We could take a whole day breaking it down. And when Trish asked me that question, you know, I to be honest, I was thinking, so Shelley. The word I think is we'll go with Shelley. We're gonna shut them out. But in any case, on the men's side though, not as strong as years gone by in terms of performances. And we're talking about track and field only. And because there are other sports with good performances from men, but just concentrating on track and the field. Who would you look to, Leighton?
I have no idea.
That's the most honest.
I mean, if you look across all the sports in track and field in Jamaica, who has been the outstanding male athlete? Oblique Seville won the national title, the finalist at World.
No, he didn't. No, Oblique Seville did not win the national title.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Johan Blake won the national title.
Yeah, exactly.
My bad. Yeah, he was second, of course, he made the finals at World. Akeem Blake is the knockout champion. In the 400, there was nothing to scream about. Christopher Tiller's 44-6 knockout. But the men, it's a field of also run. It's not a year where there's only one person who stands out.
But somebody has to get it.
I know somebody has to get it, but who would it be? It probably would be somebody from another sport, because I don't think, while there's been progress among Jamaica's men in track and field this year, there's nobody that jumps out at you and says, okay, here we go, I am the outstanding athlete this year. Frederick Baker was not the athlete. His best this year was 65 Van Keen. Travis won bronze at Commonwealth, made the final at World. Kazir Gill has not given himself, obviously, because of that knee injury. You could probably argue that Young Hibbert from KC is going to Arkansas would probably steal a march if he wasn't a junior. 1727 is one of the best triple jumps in this region. In fact, I think had he jumped at the Commonwealth Games, he would have won. So there is nobody that says, here I am male champion of the year for track and field in Jamaica. It's hard for me to fashion a name right now because nobody's been that outstanding at all.
Trish?
Yes, I'm here.
You know the question on the men's side. You have 2 minutes to go.
Wow, 2 minutes. I don't need 2 minutes because I don't know who to give.
So you're stuck too. But according to what was put down by Donald, the fourth best, You say, boy, Nakak is a champion. We have two Nakak champions. Individual outstanding performances, I may say, with Christopher Taylor and Blake. Why not look to one of them?
Andrew Hudson got goal, you know.
And Hudson. Yeah, yes.
So we can't just give Andre Blake, footballer. Are you meaning a track and field?
But Andrew Hudson also won the 200 meters at champs, at trials.
Yeah. Wow, in track and field. So track and field is talking about.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Oh, wow. Who to give it to? A finalist. And then what has he done? Oh my God.
Who won Commonwealth Games 110 meters hurdles?
Who won?
Commonwealth Games. Broadbell won
Broadbell?
Commonwealth Games 110 meters hurdles. Should he get it?
We need to know where I'm going
We're going to continue this discussion next week. Trish,
yes, because the men's side deserves, no, this is where it gets technical. The men's side deserves sit down. It's like a crossword puzzle. Process of elimination.
Oh,
what
Jesus.
are we going to use? Because it's very interesting. But I'm not sure. I don't even want to call the name because I don't know on what basis I would even want to give them that award. What if I said none of them not deserve it?
And Seville is the fourth best in the world. Now, the fourth best in the world, is that ranked over Commonwealth? Is that ranked over Nakak? I don't know.
Interesting. But I don't think
yeah, I'm not sure,
so
Sean.
still, Nakak title would have to be with why I said it. Actually, Commonwealth title would have to be with as well. Why Sean, I tell you honestly, this is one of the most difficult ones because you'd have to really go down to the final details to pick a winner among the men. And right now, I don't think there is much separation in many of them. Because,
if we dig deep, we'll find. But later, we have to continue the next week.
Yeah.
Trish, thank you very much for joining us. Heard from Donald Smith earlier on. Sean Grant signing out on the scoreboard on a Tuesday afternoon. Well, it's now evening.
Thank you so much for having me, as always.
No problem.
You've just heard the scoreboard on KLAS Sports FM 89.
Omega Radio now presents a health alert, sponsored by New Budget Supplies, always the best prices, and Bashco, the store that gives you more.
Maintain social distancing. Maintain at least 3 to 6 feet distance between yourself and anyone who is coughing or sneezing. When someone coughs or sneezes, they spray small liquid droplets from their nose or mouth which may contain the virus. If you are too close, you can breathe in the droplets, including the COVID-19 virus, if the person coughing has the disease.
Omega Radio has just presented